My nose is running.
Alrighty, so the first question is just state your name, your position, and how long you've been working there.
Okay. Stop. So I'm okay. But do I say like my name is, or like am I talking like I'm talking to students, like, or do you care?
So
For students and
Yeah.
families, like remember when we do parent orientation, just like, my name is Elizabeth.
Okay.
I'm the transfer
Okay.
advisor at International Student Services. That's it.
Okay.
yeah, so go whenever.
Okay. I'm Elizabeth Lyon. I work in International Student Services. I'm one of the advisors, and specifically I work with transfer advising and students whose goal is to start at Edmonds Community College and then transfer to a university.
Perfect.
Have you seen it, while you've been working here for ISS, have you seen any major changes along the way?
You know, I've been at Edmonds for 3 years now, and one of the biggest changes that I've seen is a physical one. We used to be in 2 small buildings, and then International Student Services was able to move to a new office suite, and we're all together instead of in 2 buildings, and so that's been great. But in terms of what I do with university transfer advising, we now have space to invite universities to visit and have rooms where students can meet specifically with universities. And that's room and space that we didn't have before. So it's been fantastic.
So what led you to come to work for ISS?
Prior to working in International Student Services here at Edmonds, I worked at a community college in Indiana, which is in the Midwestern part of the United States. And quite honestly, there wasn't a very big international student population. And so I knew that if I really wanted to grow and do more and experience more with International Student Services, I needed to find a school where the international student population was bigger. And I found it. And it's fabulous.
Do you have any long-term or short-term goals, either personal or for the department?
Advisor.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop and ask Abby a question.
Yeah.
I kind of struggled with that one. Is
Yeah,
there
for
something
sure.
in particular you're looking for, or?
Or I guess just like, as an advisor, what sort of, I guess,
No worries. I just put it in there just to provoke thought.
yeah, I guess we could phrase it to, as an advisor, when you're meeting with a student, like, what is your goal as an advisor? Like, how would you help the student to succeed? Kind of what drives you, or what leads you in assisting or supporting the students here? Okay.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
I'll just go with it, and maybe you
Yeah.
use it and maybe you don't.
Perfect.
Okay. So each time I meet with a student, I consider it a blank slate, and we're starting from step 1. And I want to discover everything I can about the student, what their goals are, what drives them, where they want to be, what type of profession they want. And once I know some of those things about students, then I can get to work partnering with them and helping them identify majors, identify universities, and working with them in tandem to create a transfer plan that works well for them and ultimately gets them where they want to be.
That's perfect.
And that kind of leads into the next question. Any student success stories that you'd like to share?
There are hundreds, myriad success stories. It's hard to pick one that stands out. I mean, we certainly have students who transfer to very prestigious universities across the United States and beyond. They don't all stay in the United States. They go to universities in other countries. But something that I thought about was a student who's been accepted to Grinnell College in Grinnell, Iowa. And you may not have heard of Grinnell. And when she came to my office and said, my dream school and my number one goal is to study at Grinnell, And then she looked at me and she said, "And you probably have never heard of that school." Well, I had. And it was just so fabulous because she wasn't necessarily looking at a major that didn't fit her or looking at a university simply because of a reputation or a ranking. But she was very introspective and she knew herself and she knew what types of characteristics and attributes a school would have to be good for her. And it was Grinnell. What a fabulous success story that is.
You're awesome.
That's true, by the way.
And then the last question, is there anything else that you'd like to add that we might not have covered that has any importance to you?
There is. When I come to work every day, I think of my office as the globe, and I really do get a piece of the world every day. And I'm not quite sure what piece of the world it will be, but it's fascinating. And working with international students, they have taught me so much and so many lessons that I've gleaned from this position. They give meaning to the world. When I hear about something on TV, if I hear about Syria, now it's not just a country that has gone through a war, but it's Najee's home. And it has meaning. Or if I hear about Azerbaijan, I probably didn't even know where that country was. But now I know that that's where Vugar grew up. And I know what it was like growing up. And so they've taught me about the world. And the other really poignant thing that international students have taught me, as I look at them and I work with them and I watch them through their experiences here at Edmonds, I see different cultures and different backgrounds and different religions and different orientations. But I see them working together side by side and getting along and collaborating and communicating and having fun. And you know what that tells me is, all things considered, if that's how we all approach life, it really is going to be okay.
Great. Do you have anything else you want to add?
You're amazing. Thank you, Elizabeth. Just the boring question. Can you describe a bit the advising process for transfer? Like, okay, so the student comes in and tells me I have 1, 2, 3 universities, and then like the whole transfer plan, credits, and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So just kind of straightforward.
Okay.
Step by step.
So helping a student develop a university transfer plan is really like putting a great big jigsaw puzzle together, because they're usually looking at 5 or 6 universities, and each university will have its own unique set of requirements. And then they might be looking at 2 or 3 different majors. And so in addition to university requirements, we're now looking at specific requirements for admission to a major. And again, they're all different. So we have to take all these bits and parts and fit them into one plan. And that can be challenging, but possible. And that's what we do. And we collaborate with our partners at the universities. And I feel like I'm a facilitator of communication. I don't want to do the communicating for the student, but I want to help students find out who is the right person, or what department should I talk to at a university, and how do I get that information. But the work is the students to do, as it should be. I don't know if that's what you wanted.
No,
No,
that's
that sounds
exactly what I
perfect.
wanted.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
That's good. All right.
All right, yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
Easy
Thank
peasy.
you so much.